Hey, it's Webs here with some surprise reveals that actually happened today because of the Masters Tour that is currently ongoing. This actually confirms the fact that I got two of my guesses right, even though if two of my guesses right on which character goes to which covenant, even though I got the wrong Stewart. But I guess I underestimated Hearthstone's punny nature and they had to go with this. Stewart, the Stewart is Paladin's Suspect, which is a 3-cost legendary minion with 3 attack, 3 HP. Death Rattle, give the next Silver Hand recruit you summon +3/+3, and this Death Rattle. This is really cool to see. It's actually like the Froggy Hopper that is in Battlegrounds, where you can actually build an entire build around it. However, because this is a legendary minion, you only can run one in a deck. Though if you do have Zola, you could, in theory, generate additional copies. And if there's other ways, let me know, because I have been known to forget about some cards existing in the game, though it does give support to one of the least supported Questline decks that currently exists in Standard, Paladin's Questline, which hasn't been really meta relevant at all. And finally, I will be able to try to make that deck work once again. It's a deck that I've been really wanting to revisit, but given this and the other support we are seeing, it's going to be the perfect time to do so after this set actually comes out. And when it comes to playability of this card, I would say this is probably incredibly playable just because it does require your opponent to have some type of silence to actually get rid of the Death Rattle, and not everyone is currently running silences, though they are becoming a little bit more common given the fact that Frester Druid is currently meta relevant and they do natively just run the Starfish within the deck, and some other decks are starting to run the Starfish just as ways to push a lot of face damage all at once. But it also does show a change in direction to a more board present type of meta, which is something that we've been seeing a lot more recently. That's probably the reason why we keep seeing minion based mage decks instead of spell based mage decks, just because of the fact that they want to try to make every class have a way to interact with every other class. Though you do lose some uniqueness when you try to do something like that. But for the next card, it is Sinful Chef, which is a 1-cost minion for Paladin with 2 attack, 1 HP. Death Rattle, add 2 Silver Hand recruits to your hand. So this card is actually pretty alright overall for a Questline Paladin deck. It does give you access to 2 out of the 3 cards needed to complete any of the steps for that quest line, which is pretty good. And even if this does die instantly, the next turn you will guaranteed have a turn 2 play with 2 of these Silver Hand recruits, or just 1 depending on how you actually want to fill. I know there was a card way back in the day that did something very similar to this, but with 3 Silver Hand recruits and cost a little bit more. But I honestly expect this one to see a lot more play just because the questline does exist this time around, and the fact that it is a 1-drop minion, so that actually works with the questline a little bit better, which is the deck that you're probably going to want to run it in. And finally, for the last card that got revealed, Buffett Biggin, which is a 4-cost 2 attack, 4 HP Paladin minion with the Battlecry summon 2 Silver Hand recruits, infuse 3, give them +2 attack and Divine Shield. And the infused version is basically just this, where it actually does give you some additional advantage, though I don't know if this is completely necessary. I do think this is a little bit better than the current ways to just spam out the board with a bunch of Silver Hand recruits, even though this only gives you 2 instead of 3, and it is very comparable to things like Stand in the Darkness and some of the other ones that I can't remember currently. I don't know how often this one will see that much play, just given the fact that sure, you are giving 2 Silver Hand recruits Divine Shield and +2 attack. However, it is a 4-cost card, and if you are trying to run a Questline Paladin deck, you might not want to run a card like this where it isn't technically a 1-cost card to trigger your questline, though it does give you some late game advantage if you do play this after the questline actually is completed. And the infuse is actually pretty easy to trigger in a Dude Paladin style of deck, which means you're probably always going to get the infuse. This honestly depends on how much more support we do see for Dude Paladin, because I would almost want to bet we'll see at least one more card, probably the location or the Covenant ability that actually supports it, or even both. I do think it's a really cool idea to have this deck come out of nowhere. It makes me wonder if they're going to do something with the SI7 Rogue deck, because that is the only other quest line that hasn't really seen any support after its initial launch, besides the one standalone card in the Onyxia Layers mini set. And it's kind of cool to see some of the quest lines that have been the more fair quest lines to play against to actually get support. And honestly, I can't wait to try to see if that deck actually is a really good deck. You could even throw in Lady Prestor just to turn in all your one cost cards into big dragons if you feel like. And that was all the cards revealed so far. Let me know down below which ones you're looking forward to the most, and if you're actually looking forward to playing against Dude Paladin once these cards do come out, or even playing it yourself. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.